Good morning and welcome back to My Dad's a Lawyer, podcast about life, law, and other stuff. I'm Noah Mittman, son and lawyer.
And I'm Brian Mittman, dad and lawyer, and my little title here disappears. So we got to put that back in.
It always
Dad.
disappears.
What is going on there? Dad and lawyer. Excellent.
There we go.
So Noah, I hope all is well. I got to see you last night for the holiday dinner.
Yes, Happy New Year.
Yes, a Happy New Year. And to all of our Jewish friends out there, a Happy New Year. It was actually an amazing meal and kind of one of the funniest in a long time. We started the day out. We were supposed to have, I think, 11 people, and we ended up with 6.
Yes,
everyone's okay,
about 50%.
but yeah, but at least 3 of the 5 that did not show probably have COVID. I mean, it was your aunt, uncle, and cousin who went out to visit your other cousin for her first family weekend for college, and they seemed to either have a little too much fun or get some of those bugs.
Yes, yes, definitely. But it was a good meal overall.
Yep,
a lot of food since we're expecting twice as many people. So I had my leftovers for lunch.
Yes, and I was very excited because I was kind of a tyrant when it came to the leftovers because we had this big bridal shower for your sister earlier in the summer, and Mom had overordered all these like kebabs and all this food. I was so excited. I had all my meals for the week. I forget. I went out, I came back, and she had given everything away.
I got some of that food. It was good.
Yeah, I know. Everything. So this time I took my food first.
Yes. I know.
Excellent.
All right. Well, we had a bit of a wacky NFL weekend. So I don't think last time we recorded the NFL season, I don't think had started, but now we're 3 weeks into it. A little behind on our recordings by a week, but yes, it was quite the wacky NFL weekend. Obviously, as many of our listeners know, we're big Eagles fans, and they won on a blocked field goal, but it was not the only blocked field goal of the day. It was probably the 6th or 7th blocked kick of the day.
And it wasn't even just that. I mean, it's like, how often do you see a block kick in the pros, and then like important block kicks, not just like a block kick, but potential game changer.
This is what I was looking for. NFL Sundays records the most blocked field goals in a single day since 1991.
And not only was it the most blocked field goals, our boy Davis, who blocked it for the Eagles, right? Was it Jordan Davis, right? Is that his first name?
Yeah.
It was the funniest stat, and they put it up right away. He was like the largest like human being in NFL to block it in like 30 years, and ran the second fastest big boy time for 50 yards to score a touchdown when he blocked it. He's 330 pounds. So this gigantic human being jumped high, blocked the kick, picked up the ball, and ran it back, and they were just like rolling. They're like, "Oh my god!"
They said he reached almost like 19 miles per hour or something.
Yeah. Now I don't know what that is compared to like a Saquon Barkley who probably runs like 30 miles an hour or something.
Yeah,
but
right.
Absolutely classic, and very happy that we got to win. So
yes, wow. So since 1991, the most blocked kicks.
And people have to understand. Like, I was watching that, and basically even the sportscasters were like, it's an easy kick, something that these professional kickers make every single day.
Right.
And all of a sudden, it made the game unbelievably exciting.
Yes, and a win for the Eagles.
Yes, I mean the same thing happened with the Jets. They had a blocked kick and almost came back to win. It was quite the football. Even if you weren't a football fan,
right,
you could tell something exciting was happening.
Yeah, it was very exciting. And another exciting news: you're recovering well from your knee surgery.
Yeah, for those that are actually watching the video, I can't. I'm wearing my my automatic ice patch on, like a strap, a cuff that goes around my knee, and it fills with. I have this like big device here, and it basically is a cooler filled with ice water. I don't want it to fall over, and then it constantly circulates cold ice to the knee to help keep the swelling down, which is a major piece of the recovery. I'm now 3 weeks. Right, we recorded right before surgery, so I'm 3 weeks post surgery, and it's doing well. I'm in physical therapy.
Very
I'm
important to do your
walking every
physical
day. They
therapy.
had me up the same day walking. The portals where they went in with the arthroscopic healed came out to be as we thought. It was a really bad sprained MCL. That's the ligament on the inside that
Okay.
holds the side of the knee together. Uh, there's a torn meniscus on that side, so took a little bit of it out, and also we're able to potentially repair some of it. They say old guys like me, it's not as easy to repair as young guys like you,
Okay.
and then basically, I had all this cartilage on the you know inside bottom part of my femurs, kind of like all messed up. So he cleaned that all out, got rid of scar tissue, put some stuff in there, and hopefully we can avoid a partial or total knee replacement in the future. I just got to do my physical therapy.
So that was on your right knee, correct?
That was on my right knee,
But
correct?
and your ACL surgery was on your left knee.
No, I just had two separate surgeries on the left knee, but not an ACL.
Oh, okay. All right.
Thank God.
But you
Uh,
okay, so
inter-
both
in- in-
knees.
yeah, yeah. And interestingly enough, so uh, when he when the doctor gave me the like PT script and what he wants me to focus on, he kept showing me this muscle. So you know how you so a quadricep is made up of four
4.
distinct sections, and there's the one on the inside that gives you like that teardrop look in your knee,
Right. Like
right?
right on the above the knee.
Right, yeah, and I have it, but it's unbelievable. I don't know whether I didn't notice it before the surgery that it had gotten weaker, or like just because of the surgery, but it's like it like disappeared. So they call it the VMO. I can't remember what the actual Latin term is. You'd have to ask your fiance. She knows all that crap. Um, and basically, therapy is all about rebuilding that muscle and stuff. So
Right.
yeah, it supports the knee, and you have proper mechanics this time
Mhm.
around. So
And it's important to do the physical therapy as the doctor recommends and right away because we deal with a lot of clients with injuries all the time, and some clients just ignore and go maybe once a week instead of 3 times a week, and the recovery process is slower, and you don't get full range of motion back if you're not going to do your therapy.
yes, and the crazy part is this, right? I'm going to therapy twice a week. It lasts about 45 minutes or so to an hour. And I got to tell you, I'm totally into I'm totally into my fitness. I'm totally into working out, paying attention, doing all the stuff. In fact, sometimes I have to hold myself back and not overdo things. And I could see how people, who might be in okay shape, not so okay shape, they go, they do some exercises, you try to do a few things at home, and then you wait in between. And it's really such a bad system, right? I'm only going to see my doctor, I'm going to see him 4 weeks from now. So now it'll be, 6 weeks, 7 weeks post surgery. And he's going to be like, oh, how's it going? How's therapy going? And a lot of the therapists, the guys I go to are great, but they're doing their thing and this and that. And like, there's a disconnect. Nobody's like, yeah, I didn't get that sheet of paper that says, hey, you know what? Go home and do these 9
Right.
exercises,
Every
15
day.
minutes a day, every day between coming back here. Right?
Right.
This is about recovery. So you got to take control of your own recovery.
Exactly.
And, it's important. So, yes, I'm getting to experience what my clients go through. And thankfully, I don't have to fight to get therapy sessions yet. I'm sure
Through
the
comp.
insurance will run out soon and say, oh,
Yeah.
you don't need further. Like even this ice device, right? I had to pay for it out of pocket. They're fighting it.
Oh, you didn't have I thought it was the old one that we used to use.
I needed a new cuff
Ah,
because I only had
okay.
the one for the arm. I didn't have the one for the knee.
Yeah.
And the new one has a little motor in it. So I was like, yeah, I'll just get the
Ah,
new one.
okay.
But,
But they were fighting you on it?
but they're fighting me. And I was like, oh, do I even want to waste an appeal? Because they were talking about basically, just use ice,
Right.
which they're correct. But
You could
think
just use
about this.
ice, but that's easier.
I do. I do, but this is easier. I put it on. It keeps it cold longer. I don't have to think about it. And the doctor's been thrilled in terms of the inflammation or lack of
Right.
inflammation. So
All right.
screw the insurance company.
Yes. Say it quietly for those listening. All right. Well, let's move on to the old guy question. This one, I mean, it is a good question, but I feel like I'm at the age where I experienced this before the Netflix trend. But the
Mm-hmm.
question is, what was it like renting movies before Netflix? But before you answer it, I was born in 1996 and I did visit Blockbuster. And I remember the times before Netflix. And I even remember when Netflix was very young and you would order the actual CDs and movie discs from Netflix and you'd have to send them back in a certain amount of time. But with that being said, I'll allow you to answer what it was really like back in the day on a Friday night after high school going to Blockbuster.
Okay, so you got to go back even further.
Okay.
I mean, Blockbuster was one of the world's largest companies at the time because it was so revolutionary. I remember as a kid, my neighbor opened up a video store like before Blockbuster came to town.
Okay.
And we would go up there, and it was so exciting in the 80s. We could ride our bike up there. What were the videos that came in? There were MTV videos, right, for the music videos. And, right, it was very simple. You had, broadcast TV was like 13 channels of TV. Click, 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 and you got to find your, the TV. And you had a TV guide to see what show was going to be on when. You then got cable TV, which became very popular because you could get movies, right? But you had to pay a subscription unless you tried to rip off the cable company with a fake device or whatever. Then the movies came out where you could rent the tapes,
Right.
and that was a big thing. Where you went to, it was the first real subscription services. You could rent a certain number of movies a month, things like that, and you
Like a
got charged
library
if you
for
didn't.
movies.
Yeah, and you get charged if you didn't rewind the tape, and extra day charges for being late, and all this other crap. Um, then I do remember very clearly when Netflix started, as well as I think it was Red Door, a couple other things where you could actually get when they switched from videotapes to CDs. That was the big thing. Like, ooh, and DVDs, I should say, not CDs, and um, you would get those, and then you could get them sent to you in the mail, and then you could send them back.
That I
And I
remember.
remember very clearly when streaming first started. I was like, what is this? And then, your modems, your connections were so slow. Like, what we accept today and expect today, so vastly different
I
than,
know.
at the time. So, yeah, it was pretty wild. And when you knew a movie was coming out, you could try to either pre-order it or run there and get in line so that you could eventually rent the movie.
Right.
And you would walk aisles and aisles of movies to see what was there. I mean, you remember we had hundreds of DVDs of films and TV
Yes.
shows.
Yes. A lot.
Yeah. I mean, what I miss about all of that is, I like my library, right?
I
I was
know.
very proud to have rows of CDs or rows of DVDs,
Yeah.
all my movies and stuff. Now it's on a device somewhere. And to be honest with you, sometimes I'll go through and I'll see a movie. I was like, oh my God, I remember that movie, and I'll go watch it.
Right.
Right. Yeah. And so, the part that I miss is that if I get rid of the service or whatever, I kind of lose all of that.
I know.
I
I
don't
know.
quote own it, but who cares?
You still have all the books on your bookshelf, which I might need some if you have any extra for my bookshelf in the office.
Yes, I got. Yeah, we'll have some books somewhere for you.
All right. All right. Well, that actually ties into our main topic today, the legal side of streaming and entertainment, copyright battles over music, movies, TikTok dances, and so forth. It's a big news story actually recently came out regarding Travis Kelsey's now fiance Taylor Swift and her owning her masters again, and owning her music again. But what she actually did was re-record every album that she had put out so that she could own quote unquote Taylor's version of the music. So it's very interesting now with all the streaming services and all the ownership of music, how these artists get paid, how they own their music, because now it's all electronic and digital. I mean, people's music gets leaked all the time because of hacks and whatnot. Back in the day, you used to have it on a physical device where you actually had the master record.
Yeah. What's it called? The physical media, right? You had the
Yeah.
actual, and I remember in the late '90s, early 2000s, when Napster and other services first came out, where you could download and stream music, and there's huge fights, and it's much better for the artists these days. I believe I don't know all the details of it than it was, but you know, going back forever, you got to understand something. The music companies, these giant conglomerates, these behemoths, they owned the intellectual property and they tried to control everything.
Right.
That is why, um, I mean, back especially in like the 50s and 60s, there were hundreds of music acts and groups, and those groups and acts didn't own crap. They got nothing, right?
Right.
There's an old band from the '60s and '70s, a Creedence Clearwater Revival, great rock band, and John Fogerty had basically um, sold the masters, sold everything without telling the rest of the guys in the band. And it's in like every freaking commercial, and there's so much, yet none of them get any piece of that because they got rid of it, right?
Right.
And so, what Taylor Swift did was she was able to,
Hmm.
but she wrote the music, so it's hers,
Right.
right? She, did all that. The company, this guy Scooter Braun, all that stuff, they own the thing that was, the way the contract was originally set up is they own that master. So
Right.
even though she had created the music, she had created the melodies, she had created the lyrics, and she sang it, they are the ones that put it all together and sold it, and they own that piece. Now, she was able to, in a way, undermine them and say, "Screw
Right.
you,"
Right.
and they can't get in trouble for using their version of it.
Right.
But then that leads to all these other things. So the streaming service is basically every time you stream a song, there's a fraction of a penny or something that
Right.
it is part of your subscription service that goes, and then it comes some formula to say to the artist, hey, you get X whatever. And it's kind of like, having a middleman always runs up the price.
Yes.
So,
And this
yeah,
the cost of Apple Music and Spotify, it continues to go up every year,
right.
even if it's by a
And
couple dollars, but still.
I mean, you think about in the concert venue situation, right? You know, I'm not saying tickets need to be what they were when I was younger, but you're spending like stupid money to get a ticket. And
Right.
let's say you're buying it directly from the venue or the artist, you still are paying fees and all this other stuff, and you know, it skyrockets. Um, and there's still a lot of challenges for artists out there.
Mhm.
They can get stuff out there quicker,
Yes, exactly.
but it's kind of like books too. It's like I don't know if you have like Kindle Unlimited or anything like that for the Kindle books, but the bar to enter the business has become lower,
Mhm.
but the amount of garbage that's out there
Has increased.
is much more. Like, there's positive sides of having like a record company or a book editor, a publishing
Right.
house, and there's a negative side.
Right.
And it's trying to find that sweet spot in between, right? You want professionals who can really help make that music even better.
Right, and make the books better and,
right?
produce a good quality book or song compared to just someone that's just putting it out
Right, but you want every artist to be able
themselves.
to get out there,
Right.
but it's so, and so then, what happens, so that's why, you'll do a TikTok video or an Instagram or something, and all of a sudden it'll be like, I can't use that music. Or you post something that's great and it gets yanked and you're like, why? And then you find out in the background, some song was playing that you didn't
Right.
even realize.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that happened to us. We had some video out there and it got pulled, and then when we listened, we're like, "Oh shit!" So we scrubbed out
The
that audio
backgrounds. Yeah.
and put it back up. But and the real challenge is, how do you, like you said, how do you track it, right? When you're selling a physical CD,
Yep.
hey, we printed 1,000,000 CDs.
And sold 1,000,000 CDs at X
And
amount of dollars, and that's how much
if
we
there's
made.
1,500,000, you're like, "Wait a minute, where are the other 500,000 coming from?" Right?
Right.
Who's burning and selling, fakes,
Yeah. Right.
pirated versions? Whereas, how do you do that online?
Right. Everything just seems like the real product. You could go on to any of these websites and just download whatever music you want.
Yeah, it's
And it
pretty,
sounds like it sounds like the original. There's, less regulation, I feel like, in terms of that. But also for the streaming, artists now, they have to figure out, like you were saying, how much money they get based on the streams and what the streaming equivalent is to selling CDs. So like Billboard, every week when music comes out, they do their, top 10, top 100, and it's based on how many records sold, but that doesn't correlate to the stream. So it's very interesting how they calculate all that.
yeah, and it's not just limited to music. I mean, in terms
Yes.
of movies and TV shows and stuff like that. Again, it used to be, a big company would produce a movie or a network would produce a TV show.
Hmm.
Then the big fight would always be about reruns.
Yeah.
Okay, somebody wants to syndicate, Seinfeld. So the main company that ran Seinfeld, I forget what station it was on, um, they could sell it to another, uh, uh, provider, and for a fee, and then based upon that, the original owner gets a piece. And there's always this issue of the actors and actresses, being paid, fairly for that. So you have, in more recent shows, you definitely have a lot more protections for,
Right. That's what I was
you know,
going to say.
yeah. But in these older shows, like, there's shows that are, it's so funny. It's like, I'll go into my lunchroom at the office and hear a lot of, the millennials, the Gen Zs, whatever gens we're in right now. They're talking, "Oh, I saw this show," and this, and they start talking about it. I'm like, "I watched that 30 years ago." What?
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Because all these
Um,
shows now are being put onto Netflix and streaming services. But back in the day, the contracts were different. They would have, royalties based on the network and whatnot. But now they're being put up on Netflix, and some of these shows are becoming top shows on Netflix.
Even
And
if you
are
had royalties,
right.
that was not a definite at all.
Exactly. Exactly. But now some of the newer shows that are, produced in the last 10, 15 years, they probably have it in their contracts about the streaming services and Netflix and whatnot. So
Yeah,
very different evolution.
yeah. And like, you'll even see, if you have whatever, we'll call it cable, but you have some service,
Right.
and then you flip to a station like, "Oh, this is no longer here because we're having a fight with the,
Yeah.
you know yeah."
Yeah. And all the different streaming services. We've spoken about it before. You need so many different streaming services.
Well, I mean, we started this off with football. Let's just take football. So you can watch what's on your network, basically Fox or CBS. And if you're like us, Eagles fans, and we're in New York, we get screwed out of Eagles games a lot of times, even though the rest of the country is watching them. And the only way to get it is if you pay stupid money to have uh, um,
Sunday
a
NFL
Sunday
ticket.
ticket from the NFL. It used to be limited to DirecTV. Now you can get it
Right.
on YouTube TV, and all these limitations, and they make it so freaking difficult. And then baseball season.
I
I
know.
mean, your mom and I, it's usually, wait, the game's not on. Yes, where do we watch the Yankees? Oh, wait, it's Wednesday
Prime,
nights. Oh, that's Amazon. Oh, wait, no,
Friday
it's
night,
Friday
Apple
night. That's Apple.
TV.
Yeah, oh, it's on ESPN because it's the Sunday night
Right.
game, and it's just not fair.
No. And a lot of the things with the NFL, like I forget what game. Oh, it was the Eagles Brazil game last year that they opened in Brazil. I think it was on like Paramount or
Oh yeah,
Peacock or
you're right.
one of those streaming services.
Yeah, Peacock or
None of us
Paramount.
had it, and people were just getting the free 7-day trial to, get
Look who's here.
the streaming. But
You see that? You
yeah,
see that?
it's become
That
crazy.
and that becomes a corporate sneaky a business move. They can say, "Oh my God, look at how much our subscriptions went up."
Right.
Right?
And then people
And yet,
cancel them the next day.
but how many people didn't cancel?
Right, and didn't realize and are still
Yeah.
getting charged for it.
Yeah, so
Uh,
pretty crazy stuff. And we could go on forever. So maybe we'll do
Oh,
a little. We'll have our people do some research for us.
yes.
And,
Yeah, we could dig deeper because a lot of the AI generated stuff goes into it as well. Because now all these AI platforms are generating music based on, the voice of other artists. So, is that legal and whatnot? That could be a good topic that we talk about next time. We could dig a little bit further into that and discuss it. But we do have, before we leave, a pretty wacky story that I'm guessing you just looked up. But the title of the article is, "Can you get a DUI in a Barbie Jeep?" Again? Yes.
Again. Oh
So,
my God.
yeah, so I'm guessing, let's see.
Let's see here. A Texas college student whose license had been suspended decided it would be fun to buy a pink electric Barbie Jeep and drive that around campus instead. And that is fun, especially if you're intoxicated. And it's not like you're breaking the law by driving a Barbie Jeep while intoxicated, except that you are.
I know.
Oh my God.
So don't be driving around in Barbie Jeeps if you're intoxicated. That's similar to the e-bike stuff now. Like people, I don't really know the law about, riding a bicycle intoxicated, but now people have these electronic bikes, e-bikes, and they're essentially like motorcycles and scooters, and I'm pretty sure you could get in trouble for driving one of those intoxicated because it's a motorized vehicle.
Oh yeah. And remember, a lot of the particularly quote vehicle laws,
Right.
Like bikes, you're supposed to ride on the same side of the road, obey traffic signals, stuff like that. So
Yeah, here it
oh my
says toy cars constitute motor vehicles if they are powered by some sort of engine, based on this attorney in the article.
wow. So bottom line is, if you're gonna have yourself a little pink mimosa, don't be driving around anywhere.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. All right.
Oh, and attached to
Yes.
that, by the way, at the very bottom, since hockey season's coming up, Canada is now challenging the U.S. for the lead in Zamboni DUI arrests.
Wow.
We'll
I
have to
would
talk about
expect
that the next time.
I would expect Canada to be pretty high up there, considering they're probably the biggest hockey country out there.
and I must say, being a beer league hockey player myself, hence surgeries, the Zamboni drivers quite often are less than sober.
Yes, I'm sure. Especially at these beer league hockey
Yeah,
games.
so it's good to be back, and we
Yes.
promise we're going to try to record on a regular basis. We enjoy this now that Noah's set up in his new studio.
Yes,
I got my thing going.
I got my studio set up now.
And I am the dad and a lawyer, and I can be reached at the Disability Guys on all platforms.
And you could reach me at a lawyer.
So have a great day, Noah, and everybody else have a great one.
Have a good one.